And among them, they have won, I'd say, a number of world titles that's in the 2-digit area. Your team, is it still Team Sideout? Sure it is. Please welcome Tom Leitner. Please welcome Larry Imperiale. And a big hand for their third partner, our tournament director this week, who has done a great job, ladies and gentlemen, Skippy! Skippy Jammer, a.k.a. Kevin Gibbons. Kevin, we love you, babe. Conrad Damon loves you. He won a world championship at your event. We think you did a great job, and these guys are ready to tear it up. 5-minute routine. Time warnings, guys. 1 minute. You got it. And they are ready to go. Here they are. Tom Leitner, Larry Imperiale, and Kevin Gibbons, Team Side Out. Give them a hand. Evans, a.k.a. Skippy Jammer. Skippy.
This is Skippy Jammer and Larry Imperiale, and these guys are legends in the disc sports. And what would you guys like to say to posterity here about disc sports?
About disc sports, well, it's something that we enjoy, not only just playing out here and competing in tournaments, but we really approach it as a lifetime sport. It's something that I certainly plan on doing for the rest of my life, not so much in a competitive environment, but, you know, even just jamming on the beach, just turning people onto it. That's what I really enjoy.
One thing that's nice about this sport, it doesn't take a lot of money to get involved in it. You
right,
just
it's simplistic.
Spend $4 or $5 and buy a Frisbee and go out and play. And I think one of the problems is some of the earlier Frisbees weren't of as good a quality. The fastback model is very tough for people to throw. And the new models that are out there, you know, you do have to spend the $5 to get it, but that's all it takes.
Yeah, it's sort of an inclusive rather than an exclusive thing. We welcome people into the community. It's a family as much as a sport.
It really is.
You travel anywhere in the world, and if there's a Frisbee family member there, it's an old home week.
Yeah, that's right. It's open arms. That's great. Yeah.
I think what you find is anytime we travel with tournaments, you always have 5 places to stay in that location, certainly.
Yeah. But one thing I'd like to say about the tournament here is in Santa Cruz is like, this is Frisbee town. I mean, you can walk down the street and people know what it is. They know what you're talking about. And this is really a rare setting, and that's one thing that I've really enjoyed, not only as a player but as a tournament director as well, is just trying to promote the sport here. It's so much easier than going into a town where they have no idea, because this is a very hip town for disc sports, and it has a bright future still.
There's only a few towns like that in the country, maybe Fort Collins and Santa Barbara and San Diego, but no town like Santa Cruz has had the type of event Santa Cruz had. At Cabrillo College was a great stadium event, and then with 4, 5, 6, 7,000 people in the stadium for Sunday with the OP skydivers, and except from a player standpoint, this is probably the best location to play in.
Just the Mecca in a way.
Here with the nice breeze coming through.
Site.
What would you say to future organizers of events and people that would like to create their towns as centers of disc sports? What would be the essence of what they should do to support it in their environment?
Well, mostly it's just trying to turn people on to what it is, and not approaching it as some kind of a gimmick or a curiosity or you know, or God forbid even a toy. It's a sporting object, and that's how you go about it. You try to sell that point to not only to the community but to the players as well. And as soon as people see what you're doing with it, then it sells itself. I mean, people go, oh well, you know, these are good athletes and they're excellent at their endeavors. So that sells itself. So that's what I would say.
And getting some of the schools involved, from at the high school and even junior high level, elementary school and college with Ultimate. Kevin's the intramural director here at UC Santa Cruz, and you've got Ultimate going on and different events like that, and it gets people involved in a sport that a lot people really enjoy as opposed to some of the other sports.
Yeah, you just get a disc in their hand and then you show them what to do with it. Exactly.
Of all the different disc sports there are, what would be a good event to start people with, what to cut their teeth on?
Well, Ultimate is probably the most accessible, that and golf. Those two are readily accessible. You don't have to be a specialist at either one. The basic skills just to be taking part in those events is fairly rudimentary. It's not that difficult to attain. In order to excel at those sports, of course, you know, that's another story. But those are the traditional introductory sports. And like Larry said, you know, I help coach, I help teach Ultimate here in Santa Cruz, and that's what I do. I turn them onto it, and then I come out with a freestyle disc and go, hey, you know, check this out. Can you guys do this? And then, you know, then they start to trip on that.
Well, let me take you back a few years. When I was going to Chico State in 1978, Kevin Givens shows up there, Skippy Jammer.
We were on the Ultimate field.
And I was playing intramural Ultimate, and that's how I got exposed to it, and exactly that.
I just go, hey,
15 years
you guys,
ago,
check this out.
And he was doing these moves, and I remember doing this move on the 25 times in a row and dropping it 25 times, but it was Kevin showing me that. Exactly. And the next morning, first time I hit it. And from then on,
now you're a world champion.
I was skiing out at Vail this winter with Cindy Nelson, a 4-time Olympian from the United States, and she said that what really drives people is improvement. And if you can, for example, with this, if you can experience improvement in your own performance.
Yeah.
That's the big reward.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's one thing about freestyle is it's all built on building blocks. You learn one thing, well, that only creates a platform for variation. And then there's 3 different variations that you can do off of every move. So then as soon as you get that skill, then you start to go, wow, I didn't know that you could do that as well. So once you have that skill, then you can build on it.
I know I read an interview with you in the Freestyle Players Forum, and you said that the crank was a real building block in freestyle. Can you give us any other building blocks that you would?
You need to take it a little more fundamental than that. I'm getting married in October. I'm showing my fiance freestyle. I say there's several things you need to learn: the delay and the airbrush. And really, those are the 2 keys from my perspective. And more, where most people will learn the delay first, I feel learning the airbrush is the best, because once you learn the airbrush, you can put enough Z's on it so you can delay it. And those are the 2 fundamental. And the crank is a second building block on top of the delay.
That's a technical aspect, yeah.
I see. It also seems to me that the airbrush has a special spirit that it lends. And I feel as though Larry is probably the most great specialist in the world at this particular.
Well, one reason I like that is I don't have to wear nails, and everyone else has fake fingernails and super glue hanging off of their skin, and I just happen to have good nails. But it's important when you do the delay moves that Kevin does that no one else can do to have those nails. But for me, I like to do the brushing moves and the roll moves and the kicks.
That's his style, and he's unique in that way.
And that's the main building block I focused on. I felt that, specializing would be better, even though I'm not as broad as some of the other players.
He's the best at what he does.
Yeah.
Well, it feels to me like that there's a critical aspect to freestyle, that the 2 of you in your own modes are 2 masters, and that's flow. Can you talk about what they mean by flow in freestyle?
Yeah, flow is essentially, another word for that would be rhythm, and not breaking your rhythm. Just going through your moves without hesitation. Welcome, Tom Leitner, right there.
Right.
Hello, how are you?
Talk about flow. He flowed right in here. This is Mr. Hot Freestyle Jammer 2.
Tom Leitner.
We were just talking about flow, and as Kevin said, it's the rhythm. And it's when you do a nice catch, let's say a behind the back catch, how nice do you flow into the throw? Or do you catch it, stop, and go and look and then throw it? It doesn't flow as nicely. And I think the person who taught me how to flow in a routine was Kevin and Corey Basso, an older player. But he was so graceful, and he would take ballet and very graceful moves, and everything was just very smooth throughout, and that's the aspect of flow. And I think you'll find that more in California players, where they have a chance to play in conditions like this more often.
This kind of a constant unidirectional light wind will give you a real tasty experience of unison with nature.
The better the wind, the better the opportunities for some nice flow.
Yeah, especially with us.
What we like to do out there is, a lot of people go out there and choreograph all their moves and stuff, but it'll be more simple just so that they don't drop it. We like to try our hardest stuff and go out there and show what we can do, because that's what you spend all year trying to learn how to do. Might as well give it a try, when you're out there.
So Tommy wasn't here for when we were talking about this Cindy Nelson notion of challenging yourself, but that's right in line with what we were saying, that just to experience yourself going out there and going for it, and man, I'm going to try this awesome things, and there's another thing that happens too. It's a communion with the crowd. My friend Marvin Vidito, who taught me how to freestyle, was a basketball player in the John Wooden era at UCLA, and he said there's nothing as intimate an experience in athletics as freestyle with the audience.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you can build on it and take advantage of that to a degree, especially, I'll think of a move out there where it looks like you're going to lose it, and the crowd thinks it's going to hit the ground, and they're going, oh, and then last second you kick it up, and it's saved, and the crowd, and you can string them along like that, and when they don't think, and then you catch, and and you brought them along to a peak there, and that can be very effective.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was at a friend's birthday party doing a small Frisbee demo, and someone in an envious position said, gee, you're just showing off. And I thought about that for a few days, and I said, yeah, that's right. Showing off, I dig that. That's right.
All right.
So, Now, there are a lot of young players who will be coming into the sport and have an opportunity to hear these words, and here's an opportunity to give them a message. What would you each want to say to them?
The first thing is don't be frustrated by it. Find out why you want to do it, and that's to enjoy yourself. It's a sport, and it's a unique sport. It's something that you can carry with you for a long time. The skills may be hard at first, but as soon as you pick them up, it's like the old, I guess the old saying goes, it's hard to do, but it's hard to learn, but easy to do. So once you learn how to do it, then it's easy. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we do out there looks super hard, and for most people it is, but we've been doing it for years, and for us it is. It's relatively simple.
But
I mean,
the way
we're
it
not worried
started,
about it.
but the way it started for us was playing catch with someone, and I was again up in school, and I was playing catch with a buddy of mine who I was in school together with, and we'd just play catch, and we'd catch 20 in a row, and we'd go, wow, and we'd drop it. And we go, oh, that was great. And we go, okay, 21.
Right.
And then we get up to 35, and we'd learn a lot by doing that.
Yeah.
And then we'd do something that we didn't know what we did, and we go, God, I bet you no one's done that ever in the world. And that was before we knew all this was going on.
Yeah, but it's
And
still
just by
exciting.
getting little bits of encouragement that way is how I got involved in it. And then coming out to a tournament and seeing what the pros were doing and just learning a little bit each time really make a difference and have a good time while you're doing it.
Yeah, I think it's important not to try to learn all the hardest moves right off. Just set your sights for the basic moves, and it's free with freestyle. There's so many different moves you can learn. It's so much gratification that when you learn a new move, and there's always something more to learn, you know. So yeah.
So we have in the background the reading off of the
Less than a third of a point.
results of the freestyle,
With
and
76.6
we shall see if it's these three gentlemen or
Rick Burris, Mike Conaway, one.
they won. These are the guys.
Team Side Out. Tommy Leitner, Larry Imperiale, and Kevin Gibbons, a.k.a.
Yeah, right on camera. Here we have it. 10 times.
Skippy Jammer. Skippy, I've run a lot of tournaments, but not one as great as this. Team Side Out. Tommy Leitner, Larry Imperiale, and Kevin Gibbons, a.k.a. Skippy Jammer. Skippy, I've run a lot of tournaments.
Wow.
This was meant to happen, let me tell you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Cliff. Did you hear that come out of there? We did open the great jump play.